And then, of course, I think that what shall we do with this translational research, and what shall we do with because translational research requires quite a lot and detailed collection on the information on a person and on the tumor. I think if you want to serve the translational research with the same databases and so on, I think it more and more goes towards this kind of patient information system type of thing, which is more flexible. So these things would have to be planned very, very carefully. I very much appreciated what Ulrich Ringborg presented on this. It really was like a fresh wave of air here, so that he came with these ideas, and I think we need to link with these people also, the people who work with this project with 25 work packages and so on, but I just can't pick up the name of the. I failed to put it down on these notes. But anyway, what is what? Yeah, Eurocan. Yeah.
How many microphones do we have? Just that one? Two?
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I am not so. Somebody said that data cannot analyze themselves. I think that data can well analyze themselves. So it's in order a clock there who puts the analysis to going. So we can have an online analysis system as well. Okay, thank you very much. Those were my comments.
Timo, thank you very much. Just, if I may, just the briefest of comments about your third point, that the ICBP, the International Cancer Benchmarking issue, the stage was a failure. Partial. We resolved the stage issue, and Mike did mention it. There is a paper in press showing how we've done it and interfacing all these stage systems. So we do have stage-specific survival to come. But that's just a very minor point. There was a hand up somewhere. Julio, was that you?
No, I just want to say that this is a Eurocan platform, and it has 23 cancer centers in Europe. Now, this is a continuation to the Eurocan, which actually looked into the fragmentation of cancer research in Europe, which then provided funding to structured translational research in Europe. And the idea with this is to go into personalized medicine. And that's why we are so interested in having clinical registry linked with population registry. So it's very simple. And we would like to have samples, all right, especially from recurrences, because that's the way drug development will move. So it's a very simple idea. And I think we need to link, and I think you're welcome to interact with us. Our aim is not just to go and look for money. I think we are 23 cancer centers, so we should be able to put some of our resources and expertise in the table to show that we can achieve something before we can really move into the next step.
Thank you, Julio. Stefan Schreck. Please, Stefan, first.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
You have a mic.
If this is possible, yes. It works fantastic. So just to comment on this question of overlapping funding of different international organizations by the same member states. This is indeed a well-known problem which is sometimes discussed in the decision-making circles of member states when work programs are discussed and so on. And indeed, it is a good question why the same member states should actually, on the one hand, finance a certain international organization directly via their membership fees, and then a second time indirectly via their contribution to the EU budget, and then the Commission giving money to the same other international organization. And indeed, we know that there are some member states who would indeed prefer if there would be no cross-subvention of funding between different international organizations. And this is clearly something which we want to achieve, and that's why essentially our offer for at least the continuous funding for the cancer information system is something which is strictly EU-centered. It is an EU institution, it's the Commission, so we are proposing our help ourselves. So that is member state money going to the EU budget, and spent in the EU framework. Now, it is once in a while also useful to take some money from the EU budget and use it for funding projects of other institutions like WHO in general, or maybe IARC. That is whenever this can create a demonstrable added value, and that we also intend to do in the future, where indeed it is time limited and indeed has a demonstrable added value. So we indeed want to restrict this kind of cross-subventioning for such cases, and in other cases indeed respect the separation of the budgets of international organizations which are funded by the same member states, indeed.
Thank you, Stefan. Elke, please, could you take the microphone? Oh, you have one there.
Yeah, I'll just use this one. The Belgian Cancer Center, but also Belgium asked me, the representative already left, she asked me to clearly state that we really welcome this initiative because of the fact that we strongly believe that it will further facilitate and motivate the accurateness but also the completeness of the existing cancer registries. And the Belgian Cancer Center wants to add that from a health policymaker point of view, I strongly believe that this will be a great added value, especially from the point of view of being able to coupling data and have this benchmark comparability across EU. I do have to say that the issue of the one payment, and I welcome the extra information we just got, is also something we are thinking about. And I want to add that we also support our own cancer registry within our own country already. So there is a huge confusion now on what it is with these budgets. We pay our cancer registry within our own country, we pay IARC, we pay EU, and now it is a bit confusing. So we would like to have some more information just on that particular part. Thank you.
Thank you, Elke. Kieran, if I may, could I ask you to respond to the first of Timo's points, namely the apparent confusion between, well, not confusion, but the separation, let's say, between the EU, the 27 EU member states, and the other European region countries, which would apparently not be covered by the JRC?
Yeah, well, is that too loud? Okay, in the JRC we have many mechanisms. Well, our priority is of course the European Union, 27 member states. We have other mechanisms in place like candidate countries, acceding countries, CIS countries. So inclusion of neighborhood countries is often in many packages, depending on the mandate, very, very common. So it is not about isolation to EU 27. Many of the projects will, of course, extend, like in many other of our projects. For example, in the nuclear domain, we're working a lot with Russia, Ukraine, etc. So this is nothing new to us. Okay.
Thank you. Stefan, you've had one go. Let me ask Jan Luden-Kolbeck here. Could you bring the mic down to the front?
I have a microphone.
Oh, you have it.
I have some comments, being indeed the coordinator of Eurocourse. And the interesting thing of this project is that we are in a way on the discovery of like what the cancer registries really are, what type of organizations and so on. And the interesting thing is that even though, let's say, the methodology is the same and the same principles there is enormous heterogeneity in the way cancer registries have grown. I say as trees have grown, and how they work, and it's in a way it's almost a mystery that they work so well together with what is happening. And we have clearly seen that since about 10 years since support from the EU was diminished. It's not just ending this year, but it has been diminishing the last 10 years. That a lot of the cement between in this cooperation has fallen out. Which, but there is another thing to that. We are with the Eurocourse project. In the various work packages, we are now in the last, let's say, 3 months of our existence, and the pieces are coming together. both from the point of view of the privacy regulations, how to deal with that, both from how the evaluation of screening, both from indeed the position of clinical registries. Indeed, the portal is coming ready, and I welcome that what Ricardo said is that until September 30 we are able to have our comments on how we should proceed. I may have two things to add to that, and one is that regarding how we add is that the supporting structure that the registries need for all the meetings and the courses and so on, that is indeed welcome. But how this whole thing with the database, how that should go further, that is something which is so complex that cannot happen in a few months. That will take many years to change from one position to another. And I would like to say a final thing on money. The cancer registries in Europe, and I'm one of them I represent here, they are not bringing their data together just for the sake of Europe. No, they are bringing the data together because they like to have added value to their own data. And so it's in their own interest, and I do not see why the cancer registries and their program owners cannot bring some money together to entertain some centralized system here. And that the last thing we should do is become completely dependent on any big organization in Europe. That's what I would like to say.
Okay, Jan-Willem, thank you very much. Stefan, you had another remark to make, or have you given up?
Yes, about the question of the 27 EU member states and the rest of Europe, let's say. Just one comment. As far as the funding from the European Health Programme is concerned, that in any case cannot and never could be used for funding activities for the benefit of other countries than the EU 27. Yes, and that should be borne in mind.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other points, burning questions from the floor? Because, I respond, please, yeah.
Now the last answer was a bit worrying. I think that it really means that we may have to finish the statistics between Finland and Norway, and so that we cannot really have Norway in the same activities anymore. Russia, not to mention Russia or anything like that. This is such a loose definition that we cannot have any assurance that Europe, outside the European Union, would be included in the activities on the same basis as the European Union member states, not member countries. So we are unfortunately degraded to states here. And then another thing regarding to Julio, I think one thing that is a positive thing here, the cancer registries could remember about their role is to provide something population-based. That was very nicely underlined by Ulrich. And you remember this effectiveness concept when you are talking about and selling these activities further.
Okay, please. Stefan. No, so excuse me, Kieran, did you want to respond to that debate that was building up? You need a microphone. You need a microphone, please. Keep it quick because we have very few minutes left and I want one or two other people.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I was too quick just in my last comment, obviously, because what I actually mean is that in the past, for anything that was funded from the European Health Programme, for example, certain activities which were done by IARC in this area from the European Health Programme, the funding there could not be used for more than the 27 member states, and that, by the way, includes other participating countries in the EU Health Programme as well. In other words, it's not just 27, but it's also the EA-EFTA countries, including Norway, for example, but not including Russia. Now, the JRC might actually be more flexible than we were with our previous funding. So instead of a deterioration of the situation, the fact that JRC gets involved is a potential improvement of the situation as compared to before.
Okay, Kieran, are you happy with that? In the absence of burning questions elsewhere from the floor, what I'd like to do is, in the last 5 or 6 minutes that remain to us, is give Oh, please.
Yeah, if I can just share briefly information that's pertinent to the. So Matic Miglic, coming from the National Institute of Public Health, I would just like to inform you that in May we've started a new joint action that's called Parent. It's related to patient registries. It's not related only to patient registries in the field of cancer, but other diseases as well. But I would just like to extend our invitation. The National Institute of Public Health from Slovenia is coordinating the joint action. I would like to extend a call for coordination with the organizations in the field of cancer registries to please contact us. We've contacted some of you already, and we would like to also work on this with you as well. So this is briefly, it's called Parent. You can see the site at patientregistries.eu. Thank you.
Thank you. Is Renee Otter still here? I can't see. Oh, there you are, Renee. What I'd like to do is to give those people who've spoken in this last session just 1 minute each if they have a final remark that they wish to make. Okay, since there are no other burning questions from the floor. Renee, you would be first. Would you like to make any final remarks?
Well, I think what is most important is that we are struggling for two things: how to get what maybe the European Commission would like to achieve, and the other thing is that bit by bit, compared to 20 years ago, many other partners see the importance of a cancer registry to be used in a broader way, and I'm very happy with that.
Thank you, Renee. David, you would be next if you'd like to make any final remarks, just in a minute or so. There's a mic right there.
So, is that audible? No. Oh, it's wrong one, that's right. So thank you, Michelle, for that opportunity. I would agree with Renee as she's going through the door that there is in Europe and indeed in broader terms internationally an increased awareness currently of the importance of the kind of surveillance data that is being produced by registries, and this is providing opportunities, again, not just within Europe but in many developing countries as well, and it is an opportune time to build on that interest and to develop out from the new systems that we have, the new technology that we have, and develop information systems that stretch out beyond cancer registry data. And this is something that we very much welcome at IARC. And can I just say one brief word on the question raised from the lady from Belgium, which is that certainly as long as I've been at the agency, no European projects or European-based projects have been funded through IARC core resources. Anything that IARC has undertaken within Europe has been funded by particular grants, or as in the case of the Eurocos study, research-based projects to capitalize on the European situation.
David, thank you. Francesco, would you like 1 more minute? There's a microphone by your elbow.
Just to say that cancer patients would like to have from cancer registries a lot more information about who is getting care at home, who is getting rehabilitation, social problems, because this is very important to plan a better health system. So we would like if you could tell us that all of us are in agreement with this.
I don't think it's for me to speak for the partnership. I really don't. Sandra, do you want to respond to that?
I think that the point of survivorship already was set up inside the work package 9. So I think this is agreed already also inside the partnership, and it is our interest to put it even further inside this information and data that we can get at the moment. So yes.
Thank you. I promised one last minute, make it a half minute to Ricardo and Stefano, please. If Ricardo, you'd like to make any last remarks, order your last meal.
No, I agree with most of the things that have been said, in particular with many of the remarks by Timo. So,
thank you. And Stefano?
Two fast remarks. Europe is not an island in the middle of nowhere. It's in the world. So we have compared not only our 27, 40 countries, but also the data, from everywhere, in the world. So that's the point. The other point is that the population-based is our goal, is our best asset to have population-based. But then, indeed, we should start thinking about a different type of research based on sampling within the population-based. So, and this was not a new idea, but the idea of Eurocare high resolution study that can be applied for risk factor, environmental analysis, and so on.
So yes, I would like to say that I think that we all feel that the patients are very welcome to advise us, and we have been in contact with our patient organization in Finland permanently. And the final thing, which is most important for us, I think for this meeting, is that we are now looking forward to a sustainable permanent system or base for the European cancer information activities, and I think that it looks pretty good at the moment. Thank you.